to the Hilltop Pillbox, although I've relocated to my buddy's house here in Kitsilano. Is that the way it's said? Kitsilano, here in Vancouver, and Triple Crown is my gracious host today. We'll be playing a round of Historical Board Gaming's 1939, and he is going to play the Axis, and I'm going to play the Allies. And the last few times we've played this, it's the Axis have done quite well. Not to say they won every game, but the Axis tend to have quite the punch. So we're going to see what he's got in store for me today. Looking forward to it. And he's also done some great job with his painting. You'll see my little painting video. Maybe you've seen it already, or you're about to. This is your dry brush, or the dip and the dry brush? Or?
These are dry brushed, and this is the dip.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks really, really nice, and really brings out that nice weathered look. I like those Italians. It'll be so sad to sink them, but
they're all gonna die.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we're looking forward to it, folks. So come back in a moment. We'll tell you how round one went right after this. All right, round two is about to begin, and some interesting things happened here in round one. So the Japanese, as they tend to do, sortie out some boats, but not enough to be a huge threat to the Americans, and the only ones that can reach right now are a couple of naked carriers and 2 destroyers, so I think our fleet's pretty safe there. I built a couple of fighters for the Americans just because they don't have any aircraft on the west coast at all, except for the carrier base. The Anzac came up here and took Dutch New Guinea and inherited all those boats, which is really nice. And came and took the Dutch East Indies as well for a couple of bucks. FEC came over and took Sumatra, because they're going to need the money. They need the money really badly. Japanese, of course, get Siam, and they can build a major factory on there and start cranking out 10 units a turn, so that's going to be scary. The Japanese had an easy time in China. I think they lost 1 infantry in every, total in their attacks. I got absolutely smacked. So we're having to play a little defense, but I did build 2 artillery to give a little bit of punch later. The communists just backed up. In my experience, yours might be different. It's always nice to be a threat to Japan, right? I know a lot of people like to just go, we're going to pile everybody up here, or we're going to attack Japanese territory. So yeah, I could have attacked into here and here because I had guys. I could have attacked into there, but then they just die. And you collect money, but you can only place 1 infantry a turn with the communist Chinese. So that's never fun. I brought my 4 tanks from Novosibirsk to the east. I'm going to bring them over here. And again, it's to give Japan something to think about. The big stack of men and arty are going east or west. Come back this way. With FEC, although England, like UK, Europe gets the money, took Iraq because the pro-Allied and pro-Axis guys all get a +1 infantry at the start of this turn, so I didn't want to have to fight 2 guys next turn. Italy and UK had a good dust up in here. I came and took Greece, and then he came and sank the Greek fleet for the loss of I think you lost what, 1 sub, 1 destroyer maybe? Like 1 sub?
I think 2 units, yeah.
Yeah, a sub and a destroyer, and took out the Greek fleet pretty handily, but then the Greeks stood tall. Our 6 units were able to defeat all the Italian units and took out a plane, so pretty good defense. And we built a factory in Cairo, and the Italians built a factory in Tobruk. When we rolled for the Vichy Free French thing, the Vichy took so much of the board, but we were able to hold on to northern Algeria with the Free French, and now they've spread out and collected some money, which goes to the UK, of course. The German Navy wiped out most of the home fleet here in England, but we also got a couple of French boats and a Norwegian boat, so that was nice. Germans got these 2 from the French when Marseille fell, and so they got a couple of nice boats there. I did scramble to the attack here. He had 5 subs, his battleship, and a cruiser, I think. And so I did scramble, and the dice were pretty much even for both of us, so we both took a dirty beating. All of these units moved in. There was nothing left there. So they all moved in from various spots around the board. Canada lost her destroyer and two transports right off the bat, but we decided to build a destroyer to possibly answer the 2 German subs that got built. Of course, the Germans activated all of their minor allies for the 12 bucks. And are sitting pretty. Nothing built over here for America. We did activate Brazil, though, with our South African contingent. And we'll be spreading out there to collect some free cash for the Brits as well. And we'll probably go grab Liberia. Alright, so that's round 1 in a nutshell. Nothing too weird from what you don't usually experience. You know, Poland fell easily, France fell easily. Holland fell pretty easily. I think we got 1 hit with the Dutch. Norwegians fell without killing anything, which is too bad. Missed on all my 5s. I had 3 5s, nothing. But in other spots, it was pretty good dice. So, except we won't talk about China. That was just ugly. All right, on to round 2. We'll let you know if the Japanese stir the pot. All right, turn 2 is done. And some interesting things. The Japanese crept a little closer with a couple of destroyers, but really not enough to make me cry uncle yet. We'll see how that goes. Down here, the Anzac just built a destroyer, but have a pretty good chunk of change going on right now. They're up 8, and so 18 bucks for them is pretty good. And the Far East Commander also up 8 bucks, so that kind of helps a bit. But the Japanese are probably going to be declaring war in not too long a time. They do have a major factory in Siam, and yeah, so they'll be cranking out tons of units. They have chased the KMT up north because there's just too many guys and too many planes. That was just going to not be a fun time, so I had to cowardly run away. And oh, we forgot to put a guy on for here. There one. You can just throw a chip. I was actually looking for see if there's a different color. Anyway, there we go. So the Communist Chinese got 1 guy stronger. Good for them. The Soviets brought their tanks and men over here, so we're a threat to Mongolia and Japan, although not doing so well on the economy. We're not rolling real well. I think they did get a 15 on the last one, so that's not too bad, but that first round 8 kind of slowed us down. The British have been doing all right over here, but we just lost most of our med fleet to the Italians. But the Italians are down to a battleship and a cruiser and a couple transports and a sub, so we'll see what they do. These are the German boats that they got from the rolls for the Vichy, or the French fleet. Tobruk, he's done a very masterful job of defending Tobruk here. That's going to be a very tough nut to crack. I built a couple of tanks here and a destroyer because I knew he was likely going to be bringing another sub, and he did. But we may, I don't know, we'll see what we do with this fleet here. Not much of a fleet, 2 boats. But we do have a little bit of air power here. You're able to bring a guy down from Iraq. And we took the Italian Somaliland. And the Belgian Congo is, we play it as though it's pro-allied just because it's Belgium. The Free French have moved in to the Italian holdings. Did you do a -1 on Italy for that?
Yes.
Okay. I totally forgot about it till just now. We took Liberia, and of course you spread out here and took the rest of Brazil. Up here we moved up the Brazilian boats that we had gotten last turn. And what else is going on here? There was 1 German sub right off the coast here we had to sink to get our $5 bonus. I don't know if it's worth 5 IPCs to risk a destroyer, and I threw all my aircraft into that. I thought he might scramble, but he decided not to. Canadians, we've got a transport now, so we can slide a couple guys over next round. And we have a respectable fleet, not to say a huge one here, that will keep adding a ship or 2 to every turn. The real story, I think, that's coming up here is that Leningrad, we got a lot of problems going on here. yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can hold on. And it's always tough. But Poland is still in the hands of the Poles, so the Germans are going to have to kill them to get through. But he did build a major factory, as we tend to do with Germany, in Romania. So he'll be slapping down 10 of something or other this next turn on G3, and then he'll be ready to go. He might go this turn. Don't know. I'll have to wait and see what he does. We don't have much defense. There's not much defending here in the Soviet Union. It's pretty sparse. But hopefully we roll a little better. But if he attacks us, we go right up to 48 bucks. And then we're off to the races, and then it's a big race to Moscow and see if we can hold it. All right, folks, we're going on to turn 3 here. It's going to be interesting. What will the Wehrmacht do? All right, here we go, round 4. We're ready to go, and the Japanese have inched ever closer and now have a decent striking force. And we'll see if they're wanting to take on the American Navy. I added a couple of cannon fodder subs here. I figured, why not? Not sure if that was a good idea, but got some more. I built another tactical as well. Over here, the Japanese have struck south a little bit. The Anzac have taken their nice new Dutch fleet and brought it down this way to protect it, and brought down their transports to protect them as best we can. Japanese, though, in a big strong move, have moved over here to C-Zone 70, which is going to allow them to have a good shot at Calcutta if they wanted to do a sneak attack. They have 5 transports, and so they can bring all these dudes, but I think they only have 8 dudes, so 8 dudes and then their air, but I don't think their air can make it. So I think Calcutta's safe for one more round anyway. I built another fortification and some men, and the British have been building every round here. And the Anzac just dropped off 2 guys that were formerly over here on Java. In China, things are going from bad to worse for the KMT, as these veteran Japanese troops just are unmatchable. So the Chinese have had to retreat into the north and build 3 men and just hope they don't all catch dysentery. Over here, Japanese have a couple of factories, they're cranking out infantry. But the communists have done a bit of a power move, heading east. And now they're threatening 3 or 4 different Japanese-held territories, so let's see what comes of that. Soviets are down here again, not doing anything, but always a threat to the Japanese. What did the Russians roll this turn? It was not too good, I don't think. Russians, I think we're at
12.
We rolled a 12? Oh, that's right, a 6 and a 6. So we're at 30 income. Sorry to send you back.
It's okay. 35.
35, and the Americans are at 51, I believe. So America's getting closer to being in the battle. Still not much going on here on the Eastern Front. The Germans did go into Eastern Poland, though. They did take that. Not even sure if they took any losses, but they took Eastern Poland and are building lots of stuff here in Romania. It's going to be a real fun barrel of laughs shortly. We did have quite a conflagration here in the Med, and most of the Italian fleet was gone, and the British lost a bunch of stuff too. And Alexandria, the British took back, and the Italians just came out with, I think, 3 guys and some planes and killed off the British contingent but lost their men, so Britain still holds that. The Free French are demonstrating to the south here to keep the Italians honest, but Italy is absolutely going to hang on to Africa. Even if they lose Rome, they're going to hang on to Africa. That's their motto. So we'll see what happens with that. Don't think that's going to happen. Over here, we've traded C-Zone 16 back and forth a few times. And he's got 6 submarines, though, ready to come and clobber. And it's this whole, are you going to scramble? And he brings air, and I don't scramble, and I bring stuff. So it's kind of interesting. We do have some Canadians over here, and the other fun stuff that's been going on. We have the the Brazilian battleship up here can't actually be here. So how sad is that? We're going to move him back to here. along with these guys. We forgot about that because we didn't put him on,
no, it's
on a
funny.
coastal. He's supposed to be a coastal
Yeah,
battleship.
yeah. I just think the rule's funny.
So
That's all. That's a funny rule.
Okay. Canadians built a transport and a man. Oh, did we put on the? Oh yeah, we built a. Did we put on the? Anyway, we'll just keep talking here. The British have decided to take over some of Argentina, so the Argentinians are really ticked now, and they're going to get an extra guy because they're pro Axis, so they're going to be up to 5 infantry. They're going to be able to punch out and have some fun. Well, that is pretty much all we got right now. Not much else to be said. The hot spots are in Africa, and I think soon to be the Eastern Front. I don't know if he'll do it this round though, because Russia still is a ways from getting its full war income, and he might want more stuff on the border before then. And China, I think China might be on her last turn here. We'll see how much he's willing to risk to take out the Chinese contingent. Lots of Japanese transports could go any direction, and it'll be interesting to see what Hirohito does this turn. Round 4, the war's heating up. We'll see what we see. Alright, there you see it. 5 about to start. You can see the Japanese didn't pull the trigger this last round. And the American fleet is gone! Where's it gone? Well, it came down here to Johnson Island. Just to get the heck, or not Johnson Island, Line Islands. Just to get the heck out of the way here of that big, evil, menacing looking Japanese fleet. But we built a bunch of aircraft. So 2 bombers, 1 fighter, and then a naval torpedo or dive bomber and a naval fighter. So they get some target select. So that's kind of cool. Anzac coagulated everybody down south here and brought the transport back from the Calcutta region. Japanese are all down here causing 6 kinds of grief, but haven't moved yet. And they have pushed my Chinese guys. They had to go up into communist China, where they were able to get some money, but that's about it. And now, of course, we're a little vulnerable here. But that's just the way it goes for China sometimes. And all of these veteran troops. He hasn't lost any veteran troops this game. So, be nice to get into those. But here we go. We've got Calcutta is looking pretty solid right now. I'm not too worried about Calcutta, so we'll have to maybe tempt fate a little bit, but not quite yet. Over here, the British and the Italians continue to kill each other, and our fleets get bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And so I built a couple cruisers and a destroyer. He hit me with his Italian Air Force. I was pretty fortunate with the dice. I lost my tactical and a destroyer, but I was able to kill his Italian Air Force of 4 planes. So that's pretty nice. But he has another 4 Germans. Probably going to finish the job here this turn. He's built lots of infantry in here, so he's pretty tough nut to crack. And my French Foreign Legion is standing guard just south of Tobruk. Built a Strat bomber down here for the South Africans, and used the transport to bring up the South African tank and man. Now over here we moved a little bit. Tried to coagulate a bit, and now we got a couple of guys here, 4 guys here. We'll see what the Argentinians do about that, if he can get anybody down there. Over here, well, you can see, pretty big fleet, but not real powerful. Battleship, coastal battleship, 4 transports, 5 destroyers. Over here I got 5 destroyers as well. And I sortied the Russian fleet. And the Brits were also a little cheeky, went and took Oslo. So the Germans are going to have to do something about that. They do have a transport, so obviously they can just go and take it back and likely kill the transport at the same time. We're trying to give them something to shoot at, because they are very strong in Western Europe. Triple Crown here has been very wise in not leaving it till the last minute to try to defend. But something very interesting happened. He took Turkey, and in this game all of the neutrals are on their own, so you just kind of go in, you beat the stuff up and take it. But what this does now is it opens up the Bosporus. So this sea zone here is wide open. So if the Italians start building transport, they can actually come into Russia that way. So I have to keep a careful eye. That's why I've been building fleet down here, because now it's obvious that's a problem. So, and I can't activate that unless I get some units in there, and I didn't want to weaken Cairo anymore, and yeah, just a big mess. So he's going to steamroll that. It's going to be tough. He's got a big stack of tanks. What do you got there? Like 7 tanks, I think? 7, 8 tanks?
Yeah, maybe
pretty nasty.
7 tanks, yeah.
And also he's in here. So declared war, obviously, on the Germans this round. And I was able to take back these two, though, Pskoy and Belarusia. I was able to take those two back because he only had 1 or 2 units in them. So he's got to worry about them now a little bit. All those men, look out. All right, so that was round 4. Very exciting time. Round 5 coming up. I wonder if the nationalist Chinese will live to see the day. Okay, so we've had to call the game. We simply don't have the time to carry on. It's dark outside, and I got to drive back in a snowy rainstorm, so that'll be fun. But it looks like the Allies have a bit of an upper hand here. It's certainly not a conclusive thing, but had some really bad dice for the Japanese this last round and the Italians. Really bad dice. We're going to talk about that in a second. So I moved my entire Air Force out here. I could only get them back to there, but they'll be heading back, and we're going to, if we carried on, this is where you start building more transports and ground units and a whole whack of subs and start threatening Japan proper. Down here, I sortied the Anzac fleet out here where they have a naval port, so they've got some good reach. Hoping to cause a little bit of grief to the Japanese. We can go quite a ways. We can go back and try to maybe look at Singapore, obviously the Philippines. Yeah, so there's some options there. Up here, the Soviets came south. And then I had to, because he had a stack of 7 guys and 3 planes here, and I brought my whole stack of Chinese guys in, and I think you got in grand total 4 hits?
3 hits.
3 hits in the whole battle in like 4 rounds of combat. I'm rolling 2s, and I would get a couple of hits each turn with them, and yeah, that was pretty disastrous. Still never killed any veteran troops for the Japanese. They're still pretty healthy, but he lost a couple of veteran fighters, so that's handy. FEC has started to move out down the Burma Road, and we're going to put some pressure on the Siamese factory. If the game went on, then Japan would definitely have to bulk that up and probably bring some guys up from Singapore to make sure that doesn't fall anytime soon. But Calcutta is pretty secure here. Now, something that in the rules is if you do play this game, it is a minor, but the first 3 things that are built must be infantry, which we just actually sent a call out to one of the designers, and he got back to us and said that that minor, or that the first 3 have to be infantry, is looking at the recruitment of local people to serve in the infantry for the British, Gurkhas and whatnot. And then you can build 3 more units. So it's kind of like some people play with barracks, where you can have infantry pop up in any zone you've built a barrack. So similar to that. But Britain also has the colonial rules. So the UK, Europe can spend money in South Africa, Canada, Calcutta, or Sydney. There's limits, and they can build 2 things here. So you have your 3 infantry. If you've got the money, you can build 3 more units, and then UK, Europe can decide to spend some money on up to 2 more units. So this little factory here, in essence, could crank out 8 units, which I did this game on all but 1 or 2 turns. And that's why I've got quite a healthy stack of stuff here. In case you're wondering how all that's there from a minor factory, there you go. And this last turn, FEC decided to build some aircraft. We knew the game was ending. We got a split, but there you have it. Japan was doing some convoying down here. This little destroyer is the little destroyer that could. He killed 3 Japanese boats in the last 2 rounds.
All by himself.
Yeah, just did it upright.
And he's rolling 1s. He's not even like he's rolling a 4.
Yeah, he's being pretty smug about it. Over here in Turkey, the Germans came through and didn't suffer any casualties to the 2 men and 1 fighter. And now they've got kind of a straight shot into Transjordan. And I built a carrier and a couple destroyers. I was going to build them back here, but if he comes down there, because he can come through Vichy territory, he comes down there, now it's locked and I can't get the stuff out. So I put them here. But he's also built 4 subs, so he can bring those subs through the straits now and do this. So I was going to come and block this with a couple of units on the transports, but I decided to go after Tobruk, and this was probably worse dice, I think, than Japan had. Just dreadful. He had 11 5s.
1 hit.
1 hit.
In 2 rounds, right?
And 11 5s.
The second did it go 2 rounds? I think the second round I had rolled 5 at 4, and then again no hits.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty dreadful. Pretty dreadful dice, and so yeah, we took it with authority. And Italy's gonna have all sorts of trouble coming back on this. Not much happened in Europe. I just built a bunch of artillery. This is before I knew we were going to be ending, but I was just tooling up because I got all these transports and nothing but men to move. So, but he's played pretty smartly here because he's got enough stuff in Western Europe and Paris that anything I land, he can take back using his air force and copious amounts of ground units and even some heavy tanks. So it really dissuades me from doing landings here. I did one up at Oslo last turn, but he took that back swiftly. And now, basically, I got to build up so I've got at least a dozen transports before I attempt another landing. That's just not going to happen. Now, we didn't do the American turn on this side, but we would definitely start building some stuff to come down here and start to threaten Rome with American money, because here's the thing about Rome. This is similar to BBRs. You can't just come in and into Africa, but you can't even get to Gibraltar from here, right? As you build here, it's tough to get across. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You just can't get to Gibraltar. If you build here, you got to build a factory in southeast US. If you build here, you still can't. It's 1, 2, 3, right? So it's tough to get to Gibraltar. You can't get to Gibraltar from UK either, right? So it's a difficult a place to get. So if you ever have trouble holding Gibraltar, that can be a nasty bit of business. Up here in the Eastern Front, bit of a nobody wants to go either way because neither has enough to wipe the other guy out, and other concerns are coming. So well, there we go. Oh, we did have a dust up down here in Kiev. I was able to take it back. My tanks are a little exposed, but I think there's only 1 infantry that can go at them, and then the air. So, and I brought in an anti-air gun. So I think we're okay there for 1 round, and then we can bring in some reinforcements. So overall, looking like the Allies have been able to kind of hold the line. This is a bit of a concern. Good chance Cairo could fall. I was talking to my opponent and said I'd probably build a factory here next turn. You can only build in your original territories worth 2 to build a minor and 3 to build a major. So you can't do any kind of a Middle Earth strategy. So I'd probably build there knowing that his tanks and his mechs and artillery and stuff are going to be coming down here. I probably wouldn't be able to defend this. His subs will come down, sink my transport, so everybody's walking back. So that's the only way I could possibly put any kind of pressure on him. But overall, that's the game. Thanks so much for watching. And this is before Christmas for us. You might not see this till after, but I'll say it anyway. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
There you go. Thank you, Triple Crown. And any other thoughts? Anything that I haven't mentioned?
You know what? Every time I learn this game, I learned something about the rules that I didn't know. And today was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and yeah, this is a wonderful game. But I think playing it once or twice a year, which we do, and playing all the other variants that we do. Yeah, the rule set is complex, and yeah. Learn something new every time you play.
Agreed. All right, well, thanks for watching, folks, and as we always say here, hug your loved ones. Thank your friends for playing with them. Thank you, Triple Crown. Appreciate it.
No,
opening your home here very much. We're gonna have some delicious food here again. He's whipped up some nice. Is that a stir fry?
Yeah.
Stir fry? Are you kidding me? Look at that. No pizza here. And hey, folks, may the dice be with you.